I'm Joanna Steinglass. I'm a psychiatrist, and I'm the Director of Research for the Eating Disorders Research Clinic at Columbia University and the New York State Psychiatric Institute. I'm a psychiatrist, so I have always been interested in science. I got interested in understanding the science of eating disorders when I was a psychiatry resident working with patients and came to see how challenging these illnesses are when the fundamental issue is just eating. And it really struck me as confusing and important to understand how something so fundamental could become so problematic for people. The Eating Disorders Research Clinic is primarily focused on trying to understand causes and characteristics of eating disorders and developing treatments and ways of helping people at the same time. My research within the clinic is focused on understanding the behavioral and neural mechanisms of anorexia nervosa and developing targeted mechanism-based treatments to help patients. It's an exciting time for eating disorders in that there's been a lot of knowledge developed in the last decade or so to understand the brain mechanisms. In our group, we have been able to identify some specific targets related to maladaptive habits and how these relate to challenges in eating. And we have begun to find some ways to change those habits and improve treatment. Our hope is that with the funds from the Huberman Lab, we are going to be able to identify some novel approaches. We can then use those new ideas to pursue larger funds. Treatment research is incredibly expensive, and in order to pursue large-scale grants, we really want to know that we're doing something that's going to be meaningful and helpful. So it's incredibly important and incredibly valuable to be able to test out a few new ideas, find the right ones, and figure out what we want to proceed with before we go to try to pursue public funds for this expensive research. It also allows us to move forward with a timeline that is much more flexible and much faster because we can develop an idea, we can test the idea, we can tweak that, figure out what works best, and then move forward without having to kind of keep checking in with the donors to make sure that everything's okay. We can really do what's best for the science. We really need to find treatments that work. Eating disorders affect up to 10 million Americans in their lifetime and affect people from all walks of life. Donations like this really help us to move our research forward, better understand these illnesses, and help people.